When we think about the Christian identity, one of the great challenges today, and Steve mentioned it in his own remarks, is the fact that so many religious expressions have become shrill and absolutely destructive of human civilization. When I think about what I began to learn and study during my own college career, on into seminary, into my years of service in the church, on into higher education, one of the most attractive parts to me of the Christian faith is the times that I've experienced people who have a wonderful balance between this rigorous academic understanding of the faith and a deep love for God. What some have called a warm heart and a keen mind. We need warm-hearted, keen-minded graduates going into the world to make a redemptive impact on our world in ways that matter and will sustain society. When we think about the residential undergraduate experience, the point of all of it is certainly to have fun. Last Saturday night, I had the opportunity to participate in my first spring sing. Now, I should take a moment. Are the Page women here? I was so proud. We won the women's category. I am a winner at Spring Sing. I will admit that I was joking with a parent about Spring Sing and all the energy, and I have to confess that I think everybody would be a straight A student spring semester if it weren't for Spring Sing. But beyond all of these wonderful community building events is the opportunity to learn what it means to live together in community. And one of the great experiences of the undergraduate experience is the opportunity to learn things at this period of life that you have no other opportunity to learn the rest of your life, but that you can carry forward in life. One of the great learnings for me was that as I left for my own undergraduate experience as an 18-year-old, and a conversation I had with my father, he essentially laid out for me that what would happen over the next 4 years would fundamentally shape who I would become, what I loved, and who I would become friends with. And as I look back on that experience and that conversation, and I look at my life today, virtually every value, every goal, every objective is in alignment with what I experienced during my own undergraduate experience. The opportunity to live in a residential campus experience gives us the opportunity to experience and be guided in ways that help us understand our experiences. It gives us access to people who think differently than us without threatening our own worldview. It gives us the opportunity to interact and mingle with faculty who are some of the finest in the world, and take time not only to prepare great experiences in the classroom, but also have time to connect with our students over dinner, a barbecue, or even in their home. We have to learn how to live in community. We have to learn how to adjust our needs and expectations in order to be able to adapt to the needs and expectations of others. And I can think of no other opportunity to do that that is better suited than the undergraduate experience in a residential community where guided experiences teach us how to love and get along. The global, we have done so much with our global. I was asking Bill Wright, what do we do in terms of the number of students that we send on one of our Westmont semester abroads? 50% of our student body goes abroad. My hope for the future is that we would have 90% of our students doing one of our semester abroad trips. But again, this is what I think is such a vital part of Westmont and what I've come to appreciate about our campus. We can't just send students abroad. There is a part of life that is experience, but the greater part of life is the reflection and the guidance that we receive for our experiences. And as I've thought and studied and conversed with our faculty who lead our global experiences, one of the most compelling parts of how we do it is we do it in 3 phases. We prepare to go, we have guidance while we go, and then we have guided reflection to help us reintegrate the experiences that we've had overseas with our own experiences back home. I think this 3rd step is such a vital and important contribution that we can make to the philosophy of globalization, the importance of globalization, and being able to become global citizens as we move forward. The second part, what happens inside us? Nobody knows what's happening inside us until we begin to talk and live. Recently, a group of Harvard-trained social scientists wanted to prove by social science methodology the value of the liberal arts. Now, we all know that if it's Harvard people doing it, it must be good. And so they compiled a whole array of social science testing methods, and they set off to prove their point. And both their study and their conclusions are fascinating. They study all the different ways in which the traditional liberal arts experience transpires. And these are some of the things they discovered. That being in a small liberal arts college increases our ability to form and articulate an understanding of all of the discrete experiences of our world. Being in a small liberal arts context gives us the opportunity to increase our intellectual understanding and to begin to work out our own worldviews. Being in a small liberal arts context allows us to learn how to discipline and temper our own ambitions and drives. And they go on with multiple findings that we become more integrated emotionally, more psychologically prepared, more cognitively alert, that our development skills in critical thinking take an astronomical step forward, that we learn how to learn, that we develop a capacity for independence of thought. And the list goes on. But the point is that in the small liberal arts context, we have the opportunity to learn how to look in ways virtually no other educational experience can provide. What we have intuitively known for so many years is that the single best preparation for life is being able to study great thoughts with bright colleagues under the guidance of able and well-prepared faculty. What happens inside of us is we learn to look anew, we undergo an intellectual awakening, and in the midst of this intellectual awakening that changes us, we're able to see life and our contribution to life in ways that we had never seen before. Finally, what happens because of us? I believe all of education is for a purpose greater than itself. Education for education alone is certainly a noble ideal. But throughout history, and even throughout the history of the liberal arts, there's always been the pressure for it to mean more. And certainly at Westmont, it means more. All of life is an ongoing engagement with the needs of the world. We have a daily choice whether or not we can engage the world with meaning, purpose, and drive, or simply disengage from any meaningful connection with it. But the whole goal of our education is to make a difference in the lives of others by experiencing and understanding the difference that has been made in our own life. Recently, I asked Mary Given, our Director of Parent and Alumni Relations, to just send me a few of the great Westmont alums who have gone before us. And I asked for the list after I'd already told her that Dave Hubbard, her own father, was one of my favorites. But I cite David Hubbard, class of '49, who went on to become the legendary president at Fuller Theological Seminary. Our own Dean Hirsch, who was on the panel this morning, who has gone on to do so many impressive things with World Vision, providing leadership and answering some of the most acute needs on the world scene. John Crew, who's a vascular surgeon in San Francisco. Bud Austin, who's just retired as president of Laterno. Pauletta Devon, who's an international opera singer. Ashley Pearson, who works as an entertainment producer for MSNBC. Jay Pearson, who's the assistant to the Speaker of the House on the floor of the House. Ron Shelton, who writes and produces major films. And the list goes on. But then I began to think about the students I've gotten to know just this first year. And they too are equally impressive. Three of my favorites. Matt Blickendorf, a double major in anthropology and biology, our student body president. In addition to being a great student, Matt has spent countless hours of his own time volunteering in very meaningful work. Matt is just one of those people who, when he enters the room, all of life comes with him. I just absolutely look forward to seeing Matt.